I didn't understand this when I was a kid, but like homeschooling is like, there is like a community aspect. It's like a bunch of families get together and no, it's just you teaching your kids.
You can, and we did at certain times. You can keep your children in a bubble, never let them leave your home, and you could homeschool them. And you do not have to have a 4-year degree. In North Carolina, different states are different, which makes it kind of a little crazy. You have to register. You have to send in a report every year. I say you have to, and it could have changed by now. My kids have been out for a while. You send test scores. You're supposed to test them. Like, we could use California Achievement Test, the EOG that the state, anything that's available for us. We pay, blah, blah, blah. If you don't turn in grades and scores, you could have somebody come to your home and make sure you're really homeschooling. But the staffing for North Carolina Department of Non-Public Education probably isn't large enough to go to all the homes and make sure people are really doing that. And I don't want to, again, it's been a long time, so I'm not trying to speak of this like in any political sense. But everybody can homeschool somewhat differently. So you can join different groups that have mentorship. So then, and then there's all sorts of different programs. And I can't think of the one, and I probably shouldn't even name names anyway. But there can be some based on curriculum. So somebody might be like, okay, on Tuesdays, we're going to meet from 10 to 1, and we're going to use XYZ curriculum. And we have these parents who used to be teachers, or these parents who are just want to do this. And so your kids kind of go to a 1 day a week or 2 days a week, depending class. And then the rest of the week, it's kind of homework, which is sort of how real school works.
Interesting.
Anyway, to a certain degree. But you cannot do that, and you can just keep your kids at home and do your school day with them. And it's going to look different for everybody. Like when I first started, I tried to make it sort of a school day. I always had a start time. Like the kids got up, we had breakfast, all that. We had reading. Like when they were younger, I'd read aloud, like the first 30 minutes. And then they would all do like spelling or handwriting, and it depended on their age. But we had 4 desks, and they sat around their desks, and, somebody might go watch, like I used a math curriculum that had a CD or a DVD. So they'd go watch. One kid might be watching their math, and then I'm quizzing somebody else on their spelling.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
What made you decide to do that?
So when my boys were in 1st and 3rd grade, and my older daughter at the time, I hadn't had my last kid, I was volunteering, and then I would go on field trips, and then I'm taking her with me.
So they were in public school.
They were in public school at first. Yeah. So by the time they were in 1st and 3rd grade, there were a couple things. My husband's business, he could take certain time off that maybe when he was slow, like middle of January, let's say, like after the holidays. And the more we kind of thought about it, we're like, oh, you're not busy. It would be great if we could, as a family, go do something now, because you're super busy in the summer, and I'm taking the kids like to stuff alone. So that was one small factor. I had sister-in-laws on both sides, my side and my husband's side, who were homeschooling. So I was familiar with it. My parents were teachers. That's probably what I should have studied, but I didn't. And we won't overthink that, because I still do. Here I am, 55 years old, and I'm like, maybe I majored in the wrong thing. It doesn't matter anymore, Susan. Stop.
All your kids are in like great schools.
Oh, my kids amaze me. Like we're very, very blessed with them. But what happened a little bit was I would go in to help, and I would see, and I can't compare it to how it was before or how it is right now. This was just in that moment for me. I saw kids who were struggling and there wasn't enough time and attention that you could, and no fault of a teacher.
Sure, yeah.
But you got somebody who knows 4 times 4 is 16, and you got somebody else who's trying to, like, doesn't even understand, what do you mean by multiply? And so this kid gets to go on to the next task. This kid's sitting there, and because then you're on a timer, like, that kid still didn't understand what 4 times 4, 4 across 4, like, 4 by 4. Yeah. They just, and so it was interesting. And the more I watched it, the more I felt a little bit, I guess, sad for the kids who didn't get it. Then you had the middle of the road kids, but they're not getting pushed to learn more because you've already got the kids who caught on super fast who are getting ready to go to this better class. Like, and I need to be careful the way I say it. None of this is what is downplaying public school. It is ultimately, for me, every child children learn differently. Hell, as adults, we pick up stuff at our jobs differently.
Yeah.
And I think we structure school one way.
Yeah.
And so I saw that in my other son, like, he was very particular in his handwriting. So then these timed tests, he's trying to be all neat and tight. And we had a meeting with the teacher, and I'm like, you don't have to, like, it doesn't matter. You can go outside the line. You don't have to have your answer right on the line. And he's like, I can't do that.
Yeah, that was such a ridiculous thing to
I know.
have. Like, the word doesn't count
Well,
if it's not in the line.
First of all, you're in first grade.
Yeah.
And your skills are not that great forming the letters to begin with. So there was things like, and these are not things that this is what they're required. This is all these requirements. And so at the end of the day, I was taking my third kid to the zoo twice for each class, or, on these field trips. Then I'm sitting there watching, like, my kids not get what I felt like was more attention, because they were well-behaved kids. They were neither up here nor down here. So they didn't get, they could have done more if they'd gotten pushed a little bit. I think. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe I've screwed doing that. But anyway, that was my thought. But then I was like, and then my daughter's with me, and she's picking up on first grade stuff when she's preschool. And I'm just like, you know what? I could just do all this with all of them at home at the same time, like, on different levels, but at the same time, which is really what public school's doing. It's like, we're going to teach multiplication on different levels. If these kids get it, they get to go over with this person. If these kids don't, they go to with this person. If they stay here. Same kind of thing. You're getting this worksheet. You're getting that worksheet. We could read a book, and I would say, do a book report. Well, the older kids, I'm expecting like a well-written paragraph.
Yeah.
Somebody else can make a bookmark. You're 5, you can make a bookmark. Like it, and that's kind of, for the elementary years were my favorite. They were and we would do the library once a week. There was a reading time, and like a lot of homeschool families went to that. And we spent a lot of time at, like, the used bookstore. Like, my kids, most of them love to read. But so it kind of came about 2 things. Like, I was spreading myself thin, and I was like, I can do this at home. They had cousins who were homeschooled, and then vacation stuff, it sort of worked out. So we took some cool vacations, like in September, to the Outer Banks. Which everything I did, they ended up having to, like, write a report about. Everything ended up being educational. Like, we went to Williamsburg, and I mean, I have booklets, like, they had to fill in, and I'm sure they loved it.